What's up, YouTube? So, as a strength and conditioning coach, right? In my years being a strength and conditioning coach, I met a lot of people who they really get into the gym for the wrong reasons, right? And obviously, I think there's really no wrong reason to get into the gym, but because to me, as long as you're working out, right? As long as you're working out, you're eating healthy, you're starting to move your body, and you're trying to elevate yourself, regardless of the reason, that's good. We could work on your mindset later, right? But throughout my years working in the fitness industry, I've come upon a lot of people who neglect some of the best parts about fitness in lieu of adding weight to the bar, right? Just getting stronger, becoming more aesthetic. A lot of times in chasing a strength ideal or an aesthetic ideal, you neglect certain aspects of your training that will help you become stronger, more fit, will increase your longevity, and just help you live a longer life and a better quality of life, right? And this is the whole reason why we should be working out. This is one of the main benefits of training, is that it will increase your quality of life, right? So you're not sick and crippled and fucked up, sitting on the couch by the time you're 50. I know a lot of people in their 50s that could barely move. They got circulation issues in their legs and diabetes, and you kind of want to avoid shit like that. This is why we train. But then you get people who go to the gym who all they focus on is bodybuilding, right? Or powerlifting. And by the time they're in their 40s, their back is messed up, they're crippled. Look at Ronnie Coleman right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are extreme examples because, Ronnie Coleman was a professional bodybuilder. But a lot of people go that route. A lot of people look up to people like this, and then they wind up emulating them. And then if you emulate Ronnie Coleman, you're going to get what he got, right? His heart's all fucked up. Look at all the bodybuilders that are dying from heart attacks and strokes at a young age. You got guys in their 20s and 30s having heart attacks. It's from all that testosterone, all those drugs. Also eating unhealthy. A lot of these people have really unhealthy eating habits just because to them it's all about the bottom line. It's all about being able to lift that weight. It's all about being able to get up on that stage and look great, right? But when you're an elevated man, right, which is the goal here. The goal isn't to just look great. The goal isn't to just compete in your sport. The goal isn't to just become strong, right? The goal is to become an elevated man, operating at the highest levels of manhood. You got to look at the future, right? Either you have a family or one day you're going to want a family. Don't you want to run around with your kids, with your grandkids? Don't you want to be a good parent, active, well into your old age, right? My grandfather was in his 80s and he was still able to walk miles around town, right? Other people I know, they're in their 50s and they could barely get up off the couch. Anyway, I'm rambling now. But the whole point that I'm trying to make is when you're an elevated man operating at the highest levels of manhood, you want to focus on certain aspects of fitness that people neglect, that you might not love to do, right? Because everybody just wants to lift weights. Everybody wants to slam medicine balls. But sometimes it's things like walking, right? Taking a walk. Zone 2 cardio. Everybody hates doing. That will have the biggest impact on your health, right? And I was talking to one of my clients the other day about zone 2 cardio. And he has it in his mind that cardio is going to mess up his gains. Absolutely not, bro. In fact, zone 2 cardio is one of those things that people look at as something that helps out your gains, right? If anything, it's active recovery. But it's a good way to, enough has already been said about how zone 2 cardio will help you burn fat in a calorie deficit so that you can retain your muscle mass, right? That's the best way to, if your goal is to lose fat, that's one of the best ways to do it, is to implement a lot of zone 2 cardio into your training. But to me, the real benefits of zone 2, aside from the aesthetics part of it, is the heart health, right? I used to train with a guy he was a cardiologist, and he told me that everybody should be doing zone 2 cardio. Everybody, even if you're doing, and we were doing jujitsu. We were doing like some heavy jujitsu training, which to me was cardio. Like at the time anyway, to me it was like, yo, I'm doing my cardio. This is enough. I knew enough to know that you know, cardio was good for your heart. And then he told me, he's like, nah, this is not enough. You need some aerobic training. You need zone 2 cardio. It's a different energy system, right? It lowers your blood pressure. It helps your heart work better, right? You got a lot of people out here dying from heart disease. In fact, I think they said heart disease was the #1 killer. It was the #1 cause of death, right? Some type of heart disease or heart disease related issues. Zone 2 cardio benefits that. It's like, you know, when you do bench press and you're doing external rotations for your shoulder, right? You do that for the health and longevity of your rotator cuff, right? Zone 2 cardio is the external rotations of your heart. It's for the health and longevity of your heart, right? You got people who are on blood pressure medications that swear that as soon as they started doing zone 2 cardio, they didn't need their blood pressure medication anymore, right? We need to start looking at training from this angle, right? How it benefits our health for the future, because you're no good to the people around you. I always talk on this channel about leadership and about manhood, and it all trickles down from you, right? You're no good to your kids. You're no good to the people around you and to the world in general as a man if you can barely move, if you got heart issues, if you're all fucked up in your 50s, right? Zone 2 cardio keeps the machine going. It builds the machine. It strengthens the man, right? And you'll feel great doing it, right? It usually sucks to do it, at least from my perspective. I don't like it as much as I like lifting weights. You know, almost nobody does. But afterwards, I feel amazing, bro. It feels amazing being able to run up the stairs. You know what I'm saying? Without getting winded. So try it out. Do some zone 2 cardio, right? Focus on some of these aspects of your training that are often neglected, like mobility, right? Start approaching training from the perspective of an elevated man rather than, oh, I just want to look good. Because, and this is another video we're getting into, a lot of times people are training from the wrong perspective where you just want to look good. And the only reason why you want to look good is because you think that's what women like, right? You're looking at yourself through, like, your whole self-perception is built off of what somebody else looks at you as, or what you think they look at you as, how you think they look at you, right? So it's not even about your own aesthetics. It ain't even about chasing an ideal that you have for yourself. It's about you want to look good to women, which is a completely fucked up mentality. But do it for you, bro. Do it for your health. Focus on your health, on your longevity. Do it for your kids. Do it for the future. Become the example for them to follow, right? Do the things that are difficult to do, right? Lifting weights is not difficult to do. It's fun. We love doing it, right? But how often can you do zone 2 cardio 4 or 5 days a week while eating healthy, right? While doing mobility work, while doing some core work for your spine, right? Doing some type of prehab for your shoulders and your knees. Focus on that stuff, right? Focus on the stuff that you don't want to do. That's like the vegetables of training, right? Train like that so that you can become a better man. You can become an elevated man. Done.